Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to Conversations with Mrs. West. It is February 1st. How did we get to February 1st already? I have no idea. But happy Black History Month, everybody. I have some special things planned for you this month. I also want to say it's Love Month. Valentine's Day is coming soon. So we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to talk about some good stuff. Tonight's podcast is from dating to marriage. We're going to be talking about from dating someone to marrying them. And we're going to talk about the stages and what we do and how things go. Um, let's get into it. Let's get into it. So, when you're starting to date someone, you're getting to know the person. It's like a interview stage. You're asking questions, they're asking questions. You're probably a little bit shy, they're a little bit shy. Um, and at this point, everyone is on their best behavior. You're on your A game. You know what I mean? You want to put a good facade out. Even if it is your true self, you want to, put your best foot forward in the beginning. Um, when dating, I feel now everybody has their own, opinions and everything. I feel that if you're just dating, you can date multiple people. Like you're not tied down to one person. Um, you basically trying to see who fits the role of being your partner. So, yes, date multiple people. Go have lunch, go have brunch, go have dinner, go catch a movie, whatever it is that, people do in the beginning stages of a relationship. Once you find that person, you become exclusive and move forward with that person, spending time together, going out, building. Um, I mean, I don't know, staying the night. I don't know, like how quickly you want to do that, but you just want to take your time and get to know the person and see what they're like. You know what I mean? Get to know them, get comfortable, get familiar, and see where it goes. Sometimes it works out and the result is marriage, and sometimes it doesn't work out and you continue dating, or you stay to yourself. Whatever it is you decide to do is on you. Well, ladies, I'm here to tell you, if y'all are just dating, there is no reason to be doing wifely duties. I can repeat that. If you're just dating somebody, I don't really feel like you should be doing their laundry. You don't have to be cooking dinner. You don't have to, um, do things that a wife would be doing. You're just dating. You haven't made it exclusive yet. You guys are just getting to know one another, and I feel like you should just take your time and ease your way into that relationship, because people can really take advantage if you start doing too much too soon, and you don't want them to like start depending on you to do those things that early on if you don't even know if you're going to be in a relationship with that person. So take your time. I'm talking from experience because I've been there, I've done that. I've been engaged, and sometimes I feel like the guy will put a ring on your finger just to hold his spot. You know what I mean? So they'll put a ring on it, but they'll still not step it up or show you that this is what they really want. They'll be playing games, or they'll be, you know, doing whatever, sneaking around, or um, just not doing what they should be doing. So don't wife to a boyfriend. That is completely right, Tiffany. Do not play wife to a boyfriend. Um, it's just not necessary. It's not necessary. My advice to you is to take your time, like I said, to get to know your partner very well. Some men won't open up until they feel that they're secure with you. So you really won't get a chance to know the person really well until like you're a couple months in and stuff like that. Like he can see that, what kind of female you are. If you one of the kind of females that are on the phone with your friends, gossiping and talking about people, and or always got something negative to say, or whatever the case is, he might not open up as quickly as if he sees that you just chill, lay back, excuse me, if somebody has something to say or they're calling you with drama, you like shutting it down. He like, all right, my girl ain't about that nonsense. Like, that's a good one. You know what I mean? We have to really about someone, and you can address that. Like, if you're just dating somebody and they continue to do something that, you notice and you don't really like it, or it rubs you the wrong way, speak on it. We're all adults. We have to communicate. That's how we get to know one another, our likes, our dislikes, our wants, our needs, whatever the case is. You have to speak up. You can't just hold it to yourself, because if it bothers you now, it's just going to get worse later on. Tiffany says, or he may leave. He wants one who is mature enough to shut down nonsense and only engage in growth, which is absolutely true. Who does not want a grown woman? If you're a grown man handling grown man business, you work, you take care of your kids, you rent or own, you keep your place up tidy, you are very professional when it's time to be, and you can like be chill and lay back when it's time to be as well. Who doesn't want somebody to match that energy? That's very important. You got to match that energy. If he's at a work conference or a party or something like that, and he asks you like, oh, you want to come hang with me, I want to introduce you to my coworkers and stuff, and you get there and you're just like ratchet and loud, and oh, I don't like this, I don't even want, like, you can't even articulate your words, you just a hot mess, it's just too much. He might think twice about going any further with you because he sees that you can't handle that kind of environment. So that's important. You got to get to know your partner. You got to take your time. There's no rush. um if he's doing something you don't like, address it. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to, because it is not going to get any better if you don't address it in the beginning. Ask questions about your partner's upbringing. You can understand the mental of why he is the way he is. So that's another good point. When you're dating somebody, ask ask how they were raised. Were you raised by your mom? Were you raised in a two-parent household? Were you raised by your grandparents? Were you raised by your siblings? Um, what kind of things were you into? Did you play sports? Um, Anything that has to do with their childhood, what school you went to, where'd you graduate from? Um, just all different kinds of things. When you ask those kind of questions about someone's childhood, you kind of get an idea of where they came from, the things that they were into, their background, if they were raised by religious people, or if they basically ran the street, or whatever the case is. You will get to know about the things that he's been through, or things that happened during his childhood. So that's a good question to ask as well. Yeah, you will get to know his needs and what triggers are what not to do or to say. So if he tells you that he was raised in a pretty much toxic environment where there wasn't really much love, it was always like tough love and just like always chaotic and all of that stuff, you don't want to have that kind of environment around him. Truly get to know your mate. You can learn a lot about a person when you understand their background. Absolutely. Absolutely. You can give them things that they didn't get as a child, and maybe that'll bring you closer to them. Maybe that'll make them trust you more. They will confide in you with certain personal things because they know that they have that person that they can confide in, and that, will hold their secret or not judge them on, how they were raised or the things that they've been through. Um, Once the dating phase is over and you have gotten engaged, it gets real. I I can say that dating is one different thing. Like, you can not be bothered, you cannot answer your phone, you can just go off and say, "Well, I don't feel like talking to you," and just do your own thing. And I mean, they'll be upset, but at the end of the day, you don't have to answer your phone. You don't have to reach out to this person. You're just dating them. Like, life goes on. But I feel like um when you start moving forward and you get engaged to the person, like that's making a big step. Like you're saying to this person that I want to move forward with you. I want to grow with you. I can't be without you. I don't want to live without you. I want to move forward with you. You're the only person that I think about, care about, love, everything. And that's what you want to do. What about a damaged man? Yeah, damaged men can be repaired just as well as damaged women if they want to be. If they want to be repaired. Some people are comfortable with being damaged or being toxic or being evil or being mean. They're okay with it. They don't want to change. Those type of people, you may not, it may take a little more effort, but it's up to you if you want to continue to deal with them and move forward with them and go through all of those steps of getting them right, their minds right, their spirits right. It takes work, it takes time. If you are not the person to take the time, if you are impatient, that is not what you should do. You should not stick around. You should not stick around. You should move forward because that's going to be too much for you. You definitely have to go to God with things like that. Tiffany says any damage can be repaired. Absolutely, with time, love, and tenderness. Question: is everything you're saying the same in all relationships? I'm asking you specifically with Tiff as your better half. Everything is different in relationships. When I got with Tiff, I was single. She was single. She had her past relationship. I had my past relationship. And we both were I believe we were in a vulnerable state, but we both knew what we wanted and what we were not going to tolerate any longer. I have been praying and fasting and doing everything that I needed to do for myself first to heal from what I had been through in the past relationship. And she's a God-fearing woman as well. So she's always praying and she's always talking to God. So I feel like that made it a little easier for us to connect, plus, our friendship. So it definitely was easy. It was not hard. It was so easy to just be with her. It was very easy. But yeah, once you get engaged, it gets real. Marriage is such a sacred commitment. This is a lifetime decision that two partners make. You're coming together as one union. So you got to really think about that. When someone asks you to marry them, it's a lot of thought goes into it. You got to think about a lot of different things: their background, your background, the things that they've been through, the things that you've been through, where you are now, where they are now, mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, and where you guys want to go, where you guys want to go together. What are your goals? What do you want out of life? What do you want for the other person? What does the other person want for you? That all plays a big part in it. It all plays a big part in it. Because once you understand that, then you understand like how deep the love actually is for you. And you can trust the person and say, well, I know that this person loves me unconditionally, 100,000%, whatever. And this is what we're going to do. Marriage is an honor of all the people they could choose to do life with. And they chose you. Absolutely. I always say to Tiff, I'm like, we really married. She was like, I know. I'd be like, thank you, babe. She was like, no, thank you. I'd be like, no, thank you. Because out of anybody in this world, out of all the females out here that you could have chose to marry, you chose me. Me. And I mean, I'm ecstatic. I can't even lie. I am. Every day I wake up, I always say to her, I'm like, I love you so much. Like, I can't really believe that we are actually married. Like, I've known Tiff for so many years and we have a lot of, friends and close circle. And I never in my life could have imagined. Never in my life could have imagined But here we are, 2 years in. I love it. Let's see. Where did I go? Marriage is, yes, it is. So I've always wanted to get married since I was younger. I always knew that I wanted to get married. I always knew I wanted to have a kid or two. And I don't know. I don't know why I want to get married. Maybe because my mother never got married. My first wedding that I went to was when I was younger. I went to my cousin Shama's wedding, and I just saw that all the preparation that went into it, and I saw that it brought all the family together. It was a beautiful celebration. You could just see the love in my cousin Shama and her husband Jamar's eyes. Like you could just see it, like the way he loved on her, the way she felt about him. Like it was just a beautiful time. I'm happy for y'all and I cherish marriage. Thank you so much, Tiff. And I'm happy for you as well. Your wedding was amazing. We had a beautiful time. Thank you so much for the invite. And I pray nothing but the best for you and your husband. You guys are a beautiful couple. And back to what I was saying, like, so I, as a young girl, going to my first wedding, I'm like, oh my God, that was so beautiful. And then going to the reception, everybody having a good time, you eating, you having a good time, you dancing and all that stuff. And as a young kid, you just looking around, like having a good time. But I'm also thinking like, wow, this is what marriage is like. I didn't know the ins and outs and all that stuff. I'm young, so I'm just looking at the good time. So I didn't know what else came with it, but I just always thought of like the dress and having a good time and, just walking down the aisle, you being the center of attention for that hot moment, all your family is like, ooh, ah, all of that stuff. So that's what I thought about when I was younger. Like I said, I've known Tiff for a while. And then when she proposed to me, I was like, oh my God. But I was nervous, but I was more excited than nervous. Because when you're with the right person, you feel it in your spirit. We weren't together long before she proposed to me, but I knew exactly what I wanted to do when she asked me. I didn't even hesitate. She was like, you want to marry me? I'm like, what? Stop playing. Like, I thought it was a joke. It was not a joke. It clearly was not a joke. I'm like, you serious? She's like, yeah, I'm serious. I want you to be my wife. Will you marry me? I was like, yes. She was like, yes. I'm like, yes. And it was like history. It was over after that. Like we were inseparable. And it's been wonderful. Marriage has been nothing short of amazing with Tiff. No marriage is perfect. I cannot say our marriage is perfect. It is absolutely not perfect. We have arguments. Sometimes she probably don't like me or I get on her nerves. Sometimes she get on my nerves. Sometimes she say things that I don't want to hear. And sometimes I say she doesn't want to hear. But she knows it's coming from love. I know it's coming from love. Her wanting the best for me wanting the best for her. So we're going to say what we have to say. We communicate very well. We express how we feel all the time. So that's very important because if you know how someone feels, what they like, what they don't like, and all that stuff, you know how to move accordingly. Time flies when you're having fun. Absolutely. Kelly. Hi, Kelly. You get out of it what you put in. I like that. You put time, love, effort, and all of that stuff into your marriage. You're going to get the time, love, and effort and everything back. I agree with you 100% on that. Because if you don't take the time, nothing's going to grow from it. You got to put that time in. You got to plant that seed to watch it grow. You have to do that. I've heard so many times people say that Tiff and I are couple goals. And what I say to that, I say thank you. I say, but don't let someone else's relationship be your goals. Because we're all different. We all move different. We all think different. We all love different. We all need different things out of our relationship. So don't let someone else's marriage be your goal. Make your own goal for yourself. Make your own goal for yourself. Because you just don't know. You could say, "Oh, Tiff and Tanisha are my marriage goal," but you don't know what goes on behind closed doors. You don't know how she talks to me. Not saying that she talks to me crazy, because she does not. She's very loving and caring, but you don't know what that person is going through behind closed doors. So be careful what you pray for, or you ask for, or you say, because you just don't know. What works for me may not work for you. That's right. What works for you may not work for me. We all need different things. We all need different things. So you have to find somebody that's going to meet you at your point of need. You can't, go off of what somebody else, because people put on a facade sometimes, and they go on social media and they're talking, "Oh, everything is great. Oh, my wife bought me this, or my husband bought me this, or this, that," living all this lavish lifestyles and all of this stuff. But at the end of the day, they might be getting a butt whooped as soon as they go in the house. You know what I mean? They may be getting disrespected or talked to like they ain't nothing once the doors is closed, or once the cameras are off. People do put on fronts to make things look better than they really are. And that's just the world we live in today. Social media has become a big part of people's lives, and they really, you can just be anybody on social media. So we really have to be careful of what we want and what we're asking for. Tiffany says, allow others' marriage to be a skeleton, but you have to build your own flesh. I agree with you on that. Because, like I said, you just never know what lies underneath. You don't know what someone is going through. Um, we go through things like everyone else. We're human. We make mistakes. Um, we do things that one another might not appreciate or agree with, but we talk about it. We get through it. We move forward. We don't harbor ill feelings behind, what I chose to say or do, or what she chose to say or do, because at the end of the day, like, we're going to have different opinions. She's her person, I'm my person. But it's how you deal with, the situations that arise. Um, we are great communicators. We are honest with one another, and we hold one another accountable for our mess. We pray, and we depend on God to provide, protect, and guide us. And that's a big part. When you are in a marriage and you don't put God first, your marriage is liable to go any which way, because you don't have that foundation. You have to have that foundation in order to be solid, to have that union. When we go through things, whether it be with family or friends, or, even if people reach out to us with their problems or issues or whatever the case is, we always go to God. That's our number one go-to. We wake up, we're praying. During the day, we're praying. We see something we don't like, we're praying. Somebody give us bad news, we're praying. Something just don't sit well in our spirit, we're praying. We're always praying. And that gets us through a lot of our hard times, because we know that God is in control and he will do all things. He will never leave us nor forsake us. And he has us 100%. 100%. So when you're going through things like that in your marriage or individually, like, talk to God. Ask him for clarity. Ask him for whatever you need. Just talk to him. Marriage is about compromise. It's about understanding. It's about loving and building together and being someone's backbone. That's what marriage is about. It's about finding that person that can complete you. It's about finding that person that understands you, that gets you, that supports you, that's there for you, that loves on you, that puts you first. Well, maybe second, because God comes first. So that puts you second and wants to see you grow and flourish and become the best version of you that you can be. They shouldn't be there to tear you down or make you feel less than. That's what they're there for. They're there to love on you, to make you feel loved, to make you feel beautiful, to make you feel confident, to make you feel reassured that everything is going to be okay. And they have your back 100%. That's what marriage is about. You're supposed to marry your best friend. This is supposed to be somebody that you just don't want to be without. You look at them, you just smile like, I'm so glad that you're mine. I couldn't see myself being without you. And you love on one another. A lot of people say, oh, marriage is supposed to be 50-50, or marriage is supposed to be 100-100. How many of you think that marriage is supposed to be 50-50? By a show of hands, I just want you to put a hand up if you feel like marriage is supposed to be 50-50. I want to see this. I want to see something. I want to see how many people think marriage is supposed to be 50-50. Tiffany said, come on, Niche, tell them, but you ain't getting no offering, though. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so by a show of hands, how many people think that marriage is supposed to be 100-100? I want to see this. 100-100. We got Lisa for 100-100. We got West here, 100-100. Tiffany says 100-100. I like that answer. But we're living in a reality. Kelly, 100-100. Okay. I love that answer. But I'm saying I agree with that. 100-100 ratio isn't realistic, though. You want me to tell you why? I say, yes, we always want to give our best. We always want to give 100% in everything that we do in our relationship, right? But you do know that there will be times in your relationship that you will have to give more than 100 when your spouse or your significant other cannot do that. So it's not always going to be 100-100. Say you're in a relationship, both of you are working, everything is fine, everything is happy and dandy, and then something happens to your spouse where he can't work for 6 months or a year. You still feel like it's going to be 100-100? No, you're going to have to pick up his half. You're going to have to pick up her slack because she's not able to, or he's not able to. Right? So what if something happened to you and you can't do your 100% part? Do you not expect your partner to pick up your slack? This is real life we're talking about. This is real life we're talking about. If they're not able to, you will have to pick up that slack. This is a marriage. This is what you signed up for better or worse. For better or worse. So it won't always be 100-100. It won't always be you guys are both pulling your weight. Sometimes they're going to need that extra. And that's what we're here for. We're here to be their backbone. We're here to support them. We're here to love them and do our part at all times. Tiffany said if they lack in one area, they may pick up in other areas. And that may be true. And that may be true as well. But it still won't always be 100-100. Sometimes you may need a break. You may be overwhelmed and stressed to the max. You can't go get the kids. You can't do this. You can't make a move. You can't do the laundry. You just can't physically or mentally. And your husband or your wife will have to pick up the slack. It's not 100-100. This is real life that we're talking about. Real life situations happen. Accidents happen. Emergencies happen. COVID happens. Some people have long lasting effects of COVID still. So it's not always going to be that. Yep. And vice versa. You just got to make sure that you're always there for them when they need you. You have to be everything for them. Just like they're everything for you, have to be everything for them. Marriage is give and take. Definitely. Definitely. It's never one-sided. Never one-sided. I would never ask my wife to do anything that I wouldn't be willing to do. Never. Never. So, I mean, it may not always be 100. Yes, that we want, we think of it as, yeah, I'm pulling 100, you pulling 100, we're both equal. But at the end of the day, sometimes you have to pull more than 100. You may have to do 130. You may have to do 150 for a little while. Even if it's a week, even if it's a month, if it has to be a year, like you still are going to pick up that extra because they're not able to. A seesaw. Right, Tiff. A seesaw. I got so many Tiffany's in this live. It's not even funny. Oh my goodness. But this is just reality. Like I said, I mean, sometimes you may have to do it may be 70-30. You don't know. You just don't know. When life throws different curveballs at you, you don't know what's coming. None of us can prepare for things that, come our way. We just have to deal with them once they get here. It's just that simple. Um, this is what marriage is all about: ups, downs, growth, happiness, sacrifices, and holding one another down until the end. A good marriage has all of these things. Let me know if you agree with me. Honesty. You got to be honest with your partner. You got to be honest with your wife or your husband. But if you keep God first, it won't feel like you're picking up. No. And I'm not saying, when I said that you may have to do more than 100, please don't get me wrong. I was not saying that there is a problem with it. Definitely not saying there's a problem with it. I'm just saying it's more realistic to say it is what it is. We can't put numbers or percentages on what somebody brings to the table, because you could date a millionaire and you're not going to come close to doing what he could do. And he's not going to complain about it because you're his wife, or she's not going to complain about it because you're her wife or you're her husband. What I'm saying is we have to be realistic. Not saying that it's going to bother you, because it shouldn't. You marry this person. You said for better or worse, for richer, for poorer, whatever, till death do you part. So none of it should be a complaint. But I'm just saying, like, things happen in life. Life happens, and you just don't know when it's going to happen or what's going to happen. That's all I was saying on that. So I'm saying honesty in a marriage. You got to have honesty. You got to feel comfortable talking to your partner, even sometimes if it hurts you. You just be honest and let them know, get it off your chest, and let them help you deal with it, whatever it is. Be honest. That's one. Trust. First of all, if you don't trust the person, you shouldn't even be getting married to them. So if you don't have trust, then you have a problem already. Great communication. Oh my God, I cannot stress this enough. Excuse me. I cannot stress this enough, you guys. You have to talk. You have to communicate. You have to be open to express how you feel about things to your significant other or your spouse. You have to communicate. You have to talk. You have to. So let me share with you what Tiff and I do. So monthly, which is February 1st, we may be doing this talk tonight or sometime this week. Every month we do a check-in. We talk to one another, we sit down and we express any of our concerns, anything that is on our mind, anything that's bothering us, or even if it's a good thing, share something good. It doesn't have to be negative or anything like that, but we we sit down and we talk every month, and we talk about things that are on our mind, what's bothering us, things that we need to either, brush up on a little bit, or do more of, or do less of, or whatever it is. Whatever it is, monthly, we do our monthly check ins every single month. We've been doing this for the last year and a half. And this is a good way for us to stay connected. This is a good way for us to stay connected emotionally, mentally, spiritually, um, So there's no gray areas, there's no questions, there's no, miscommunication or misunderstanding. So I feel like this is a wonderful thing to do. Love this monthly check-in concept. Yes, Kelly Kashuba said I love that. Yes, every single month we do this. And I must say that it helps me. I'm sure it helps her. I think it helps her. It helps me because this is something that I also did with my children when they were younger. We had family meetings every month, and we all used to sit down and talk and, just communicate so I can know what's going on with my children. But I feel like when you're married to somebody, it's very important to check in often, because somebody could be overwhelmed or stressed or going through some stuff that you don't even know about until they have a breakdown. And I feel like if you're in a marriage and you're, connected to this person that said your vows to, and, you love and you care about, and you want to make sure that they're good and being the best version of themselves, you should be checking in on them frequently. That's very important. You should check in on them frequently. So we got honesty, trust, great communication. Without check-in, somebody may check out. That's very true. That's a great reason why you should be checking in monthly, because you just don't know. Somebody could be on their last string. Like, if she say one more thing to me, I'm going. Or he could be like, I just, she don't pay me no mind. She don't pay me no attention. I asked her to do this last week, or asked her to do that the other day. There's no talking to this girl. There's no talking to this woman. I don't even know what else to do. So if you're communicating monthly and he expressed that to you, so it's not like you're playing a guessing game or have to read his mind, because he already expressed to you, this is what I need, this is what I want, this is what I don't like, this is what, has been on my mind, or some ideas by, like, I think we should do this more, I think we should do that more. Then you're both on the same page and you don't have to guess or question. So we got honesty, trust, great communication. Another big one is consistency. I cannot stress this enough about being consistent with your partner, your wife, your husband in your marriage period. The things that you did when you were dating or, getting to the point of marriage should not stop. The date nights should not stop. The flowers should not stop, whether it be an occasion or just for no reason at all, just because I love you. It should not stop. The compliments should not stop. Just the chivalry should not stop. The wanting to hold your partner or cuddle with your partner or just take a drive with your partner, all of this stuff should not stop once you get married. It shouldn't change. If anything, you should want to do more of it. It should not change. Consistency may be problematic if it was a contingency. Yeah, maybe. It may be. But you have to figure out some kind of way to make that work. You have to make it work. Take the time. You gotta put that time and you gotta put that effort in. Because I feel like all the stuff that you was doing to get me, you should be doing while you got me. Don't front for me and make it seem like, oh, you're gonna be doing all this stuff. You such a gentleman, or whatever. And once you get me, like, all of that stuff just like slowly dies down and you just never do it again. That's not cool. Because now you was putting on the front. You lied. You're a liar. Because this is not how you really are. You know? So you got to keep up. Definitely got to keep up. Honesty, trust, great communication, consistency, love. Show me you love me. Don't tell me you love me and then never spend time with me. Don't tell me you love me and never take me out. Don't tell me you love me and never are around. You put work before me. You put your friends before me. You put your parents before me. You put your cousins before me. Don't do it. Because that's not showing me you love me. I don't want to hear anything you have to say. I need you to Be about actions. Actions will always speak louder than words to me every single day of my life. Tiffany says, I totally agree with you. People do things to get the person, but do only to get the person, not to keep them. Absolutely. And that's where a lot of marriages and relationships, period, go wrong. So don't sit here and tell me that you love me and I ask you if we can go to the movies this weekend and you say yes, and then, oh, my cousin's birthday is coming up. I forgot he was having. I don't care nothing about your cousin's birthday party, him, where he going, what he got going on. You told me we were going on a date night. And we haven't been on a date night in 3.5 weeks or 2 months or whatever the situation is. I don't care about that. I care about what you told me. Kelly says, my husband always says that, and we teach our kids to watch people's actions. Doesn't matter what they say. I always taught my kids that. I said, don't, oh, I'm going to come here. I'm going to come this weekend and get you and take you here, this, that, and the third. Or I'm going to buy you this, I'm going to buy you that. I said, look, when somebody tells you they're going to do something for you or come and take you somewhere, you do not hold on to that. You say, okay, and you go on about your day. Only do you worry about it when they're come knocking at the door talking about, oh, can I pick up such and such? I'm taking this person. Okay. Don't sit here and think that somebody is really going to come and do these things for you until they do it. I said, see me, when I tell you I'm going to do something, I always do it because I know how it feels to be let down. And I don't want to do that to you. It's a hurtful feeling, especially when you're a child. They take it really personal. Really personal. Hi, Benjamin. Thank you for tuning in to Conversations. Great conversation, love. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in. But you got to teach your kids at a young age so they know, so they won't get let down all the time because people, things come up, but people do lie. People are not honest. So you have to definitely prepare them for that and let them know you go by actions and not words, So we got honesty, trust, great communication, consistency, love, respect. Oh my goodness. People tell you they love you all the time and then disrespect you right after that. I don't understand how a person could tell you that they love you and they care about you and all that stuff, but do disrespectful things to you or talk to you disrespectfully. Like I said, your actions speak louder than words. You can tell me you love me all day, but if you're disrespecting me in any kind of way, that's not love. Love should not hurt. God loves me. And I feel his love, and it does not hurt. It feels great. It feels joyful. It feels amazing. So when somebody's telling you that they love you, but they turn around and disrespect you, that's not love. That's not love. That's somebody being selfish and a liar. So we have to be careful what we allow. Like as my wife, as my husband, as somebody that I, vowed that I would spend the rest of my life with and through better or worse, like, yeah, I would never want to get divorced, but I'm not going to sit here and let anybody disrespect me either. I've been there, done that, and I will never do that again. I will never let somebody belittle me. I will never let somebody take advantage of me, and I will never let somebody disrespect me because I know my worth. And if I'm not giving that energy and if I'm not giving that to you, I don't want to take it. I don't want to take it. I won't take it. Nobody should take it at all. Not even the littlest disrespect. Because it starts there and it gets worse. So I say no to disrespect. Sorry. And the last but never least is great sex. Okay, so you have to be intimate with your partner. You got to love on your partner. You got to spend that time with your partner. There's different things that you can do that doesn't even involve, having intercourse. You can be romantic with your partner and sensual with your partner and have a good time. Wanda says if you tell someone whatever he or she says is disrespectful to you, the person should stop. That's how we think it should be. That's how we want it to be. But it's not always that way. Because what someone else thinks is disrespectful or not disrespectful, and you do, what if you don't agree on what's disrespect? Then you got a whole nother problem. If somebody loves and care about you the way they say they do, if you tell them that they're doing anything to hurt your feelings, your body, physically, your emotions, anything, they should stop. They will stop if they love and care about you the way they say they do. They will stop. But you have those manipulators that, it's all about them. They lie, they sneak, they do all of this different stuff, and they always want to make it seem like it's your fault that they're doing what they're doing to you. Do not fall for that. If they're not happy, they can leave. Just as well as if you're not happy, you can leave. A lot of people are like, oh, I got married. I don't want to get divorced because of the kids or whatever, the issues or situations is and stuff like that. We all have our reasons for not leaving or tolerating more than we should. But at the end of the day, if you're not happy, your spirit is not happy, you don't feel good about what's going on, go. Leave. You'll be fine. Nobody deserves to be disrespected. Nobody deserves to be belittled or talked down to. You don't deserve that. And if you feel like you deserve that, you need to get counseling and talk to God, because you don't. There's something wrong with the way you're thinking if you feel like you deserve it. It's not cool. It's not right. It doesn't feel good. It's just not a good situation. One thing you didn't mention is you have to fight fair. Yeah, we all got to fight fair, but who wants to fight at all? I don't want to go back and forth with somebody. I don't want to be in and out of court. I don't want to do all of that stuff. Yes, we probably will have to go to court if I file for a divorce and I want to get away from you. But if this is something we can sit down and talk about, and I can express to you my concerns and my feelings of what's going on, then I feel like if you love and respect me and you want to be with me moving forward, you will change that. You will change that. It shouldn't be any fighting. I don't want to fight at all, whether it be verbally or physically. I don't even like to argue. I don't argue with my wife. We don't argue. We give each other our space. When she's not in a good mood or I'm not in a good mood, we give each other space. Excuse me. There's no fighting. It's unnecessary. We're too grown. When arguing / disagreeing, be fair. I'm not arguing with you. That's just me. Some people may argue. They want to go back and forth. I'm not arguing with anybody. Sorry. I'm just not doing that. You can disagree. We can disagree. We can agree to disagree and leave it alone. Maybe come back to it later, bring it up later, but I'm not arguing. I'm not yelling and going back and forth or I'm not doing that. It's not necessary because you're not listening to me. I'm not listening to you. We're just making noise at this point. And I'm not doing that. I don't have the energy for that. I'm just not going to do it. There's no need. No need at all. At all. So like I said, sex. Have sex. I don't care what you do, when you do and what you do, but enjoy each other. That's another intimate moment where you guys come closer. You share, you share one another. You can talk, you got music playing, you're just engaging in one another, and that's your personal time to do whatever you want to do with one another. And a lot of times it puts you in a better mood. Can't deny that. Sex before work, sex before bed, whatever. It puts you in a better mood. You're married. You can do what you want to do. That is a big part of your relationship as well. So you got to keep it spicy, stay intimate, stay romantic, love on one another. I feel like if you have all of these things that we've mentioned and that we've discussed, you will have a great marriage. Your marriage will flourish. You'll be happy with one another. You'll enjoy being around your partner or your spouse or your significant other. You guys can laugh together, share silly moments, be connected. You'll be closer, um, and just it'll be a good time. It'll be a good marriage. You know, negativity you don't need. You need to just love one another. We're not promised tomorrow. We're not getting any younger. We're all, getting up there in age, and it's time to be happy. It's time to just live your life, do things that make you happy, spend time with your loved ones, your kids, take short trips, do whatever. Just put time into one another, because at the end of the day, you did make those vows. You would love each other unconditionally, through better or for worse, richer for poor, or richer for richer, like my wife said. I don't say that poor thing to me. That's fine too. And until death do you part. Like, you got to just stick it out, hang in there, and just know that everything is going to be okay. And things will be good. Things will be good. You'll love one another and you'll have a good time. You'll have a good time. I don't want to keep you guys any longer. Thank you for tuning in with me, Mrs. West. As I always say to you guys, always strive to be your best. This has been Conversations with Mrs. West. I am out of here. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. And I'll see you next week. Hopefully, all you guys will come back next week and hang out with me. I love you all. Mwah.